Welcome to Caroline's Library, where we dive into the world of manga, anime, and more. Today we are talking about one of my absolute favorite manga series, and that is Windbreaker. This story is absolute gold, and I will die on that hill, so let's jump right into it with a quick high-level summary of Volume 1. Allow me to welcome you to Mikochi, the town of the infamous Fruin High School, known for its delinquent brawlers. This town has been through the ringer dealing with more than its fair share of street fights, vandalism, and harassment. Because of its history, very few people elect to move to this town, but of course, in walks Haruka Sakura, a guy who has some serious anger management issues, and Sakura is about to voluntarily start his first year at Furin with only one goal in mind: to fight his way to the top. But there's one slight problem. That whole notorious reputation of delinquents is undergoing renovations. You see, Furin High School students, led by the charismatic Umemiya, have sort of become known as Bofurin, the guardians of the neighborhood, stepping in to clean up the town and keep the peace. So what will that mean for Sakura, who sought out this school because of its infamous reputation? With that review behind us, let's tackle what makes this one of the best manga series, starting with the characters. You will, without a doubt, find some amazing characters that you absolutely love in this story. The mangaka did an amazing job of creating well-rounded and relatable guys. Sakura, our main character, might seem perpetually angry, but underneath that grumpy, antisocial exterior is a caring, loyal, and determined guy who does not back away from a challenge. And his character backstory and personal growth are truly phenomenal. You learn about his traumatic childhood and why he is the way he is today. But as he gains mentors, friends, and allies, his frosty exterior starts to crack as he slowly starts to let people into his life. Alongside Sakura, we've got his two best friends that help to smooth out his personality, Suo and Nire. Suo is our charming, calm gentleman who strongly believes in showing empathy and defending the weak. And speaking of weak, we've got Nire, the adorable, kind, and genuine right-hand man who is determined to become strong enough to defend himself and his friends. But alongside these three main guys, we've got a growing cast of unique and well-developed characters who all get their time in the spotlight, including the leader Umemiya, the stylish Kiryu, the stressed-out Hiragi, and the moral support Kotoha. And Windbreaker is not just full of amazing protagonists. There are some truly complex antagonists throughout the story, and many of them have strong character arcs that help to explain why they are the way they are. With their backstories and interactions, do not be surprised if you suddenly find yourself liking the bad guy from the previous volume. Right when you think you hate a character, a fight scene or a flashback suddenly has you rethinking everything you thought you knew about that person. Some of my absolute favorite characters are the enemies from earlier volumes. And of course, this character development happens through some truly epic fight scenes. The author cleverly uses brawls to showcase camaraderie, empathy, and personal growth. As the story builds up to a gang war in later volumes, you get more intense, emotional fights that beautifully display the brotherhood that's developed between our characters and the desire to build bridges, not burn them. But remember, none of this would be possible without our determined leader who had the courage to change Furin's reputation. I'm talking about Umemiya. Ume is not a simple high school student. He is the mentor, therapist, and role model throughout the story. His impact and influence on the Furin students brings out the best in everyone, and there have been multiple times where I've learned a thing or two from Umemiya's conversations. Ume, alongside other key mentors, gives Sakura the push he needs to begin his personal growth journey from loner to trusted friend. And as you'd expect with this huge crew of characters, we've got some awesome story arcs that seriously deliver. And the series has a strong start with a battle between Bofurin and Shishitorin, where we get intense fights, touching backstories, and meaningful character development. As for my personal favorite arcs, it's gotta be the gang war arc starting in Volume 11, and the arrival of a new student in Chapter 188. But every arc so far has been tremendous, and I've already reread the series 3 times. Now, obviously, I can't forget about the incredible art in this story. From background details to character design to fight scenes, the mangaka really went above and beyond with the level of detail. You see raw emotion on the characters' faces. You get a distinct sense of the bustling, graffiti-covered town, and you meet distinguishable characters with unique and creative styles. So we've got amazing characters, enjoyable story arcs, strong character development, and great art. But obviously everything about Windbreaker is not sunshine and rainbows. There are a few questionable parts of this story. For starters, where are the adults, parents, or guardians? How can a 16-year-old seemingly manage a cafe? Is Furian an actual school? Because I don't see any teachers ever. There are parts of this story that don't make a ton of sense. You won't meet many parents or teachers, there's seemingly no homework or school requirements, and some underage kids have extremely questionable jobs and responsibilities. So these world-building details and explanations aren't exactly at the top of the to-do list. If the author had made the characters slightly older instead of high school students, it would have removed a lot of these holes in the story. And second, this is a very wholesome manga, and for me, that's a great thing. But if you're expecting a darker series with real danger, this will not deliver. Yes, there are a variety of enemies and fights, but the story is more focused on building bridges rather than burning them. It's friendship-focused. So the main antagonists sort of lose their edge after a while, but that's by design. So depending on what you're hoping for, this part of the story may be fantastic or might be a letdown. Alright, so all things considered, Windbreaker had me hooked from the first chapter. I don't read the weekly chapter drops for many series, but I do for Windbreaker. It features some truly relatable characters, unbreakable friendships, personal growth, and of course, thoroughly entertaining fight scenes. If that's your jam, be sure to check this out. And this manga also has a fantastic anime adaptation. But if you've already read this series or watched it, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for popping on to watch this review, and until next time, happy reading!